Cheat code. Support Strategist. By Clouds. My head in the clouds, not coming down. On AO3.
Chapter 7. Acceptance. The leather was heavier than he expected. Well, logically, Izuku knew that the envelope was probably stuffed with all sorts of paperwork if he was accepted, or maybe resources for if he wasn't, so it made sense for it to weigh something, but for some reason it felt heavier than just paper. Or maybe that was just the emotional reaction to the tension he'd been feeling ever since his mom ran in from getting the mail. The letter was going to determine the rest of his future. This would determine if he remained a worthless loser or if he went to All Might's All Matter to become a professional analyst, so no wonder the envelope felt so heavy. Mom hovered nervously, wringing her hands as she waited for him to open it. A few months ago, he would have probably gone to his room to be alone, but she had been just as involved in his preparation for the entrance exam as he'd been, and honestly, after bombing the practical, he could really use the support. Izuku, Mom finally said, "It's not gonna get any easier if you wait." Izuku nodded and took a deep breath, then closed his eyes and ripped the envelope open like he was taking off a band-aid. There was a metallic thud that made Izuku open his eyes as something fell out and hit the coffee table. Is that a hologram projector? Almost as soon as he said that, the disc came to life and a small screen appeared. Power Lord was standing right at the camera, looking somewhat tired, which made sense if he had to make one of these for each student in the support course. "Izuku Midoriya," Power Lord began. "You passed the written exam with flying colors and turned in an impressive portfolio. However, I've been told that during the practical exam, you did not succeed in hacking UA." Tears sprinkled at the corner of his eyes. He could feel his mom looking at him with pity as he stared at the ground. Of course he knew he'd fail the exam. As much as he wanted to believe that Mei was right about them not expecting him to succeed, he hadn't been able to push away the dread whenever he thought about the last test. He really was a failure. He was a quirkless nobody, just like Kachan always said. "I'm glad." Izuku whipped his head up fast enough to almost give him whiplash. Was Power Loader glad he didn't make it into UA? Was he rubbing it in? That didn't seem like an appropriate behavior for a pro hero. "If you had succeeded, I would have honestly been concerned at the quality of the school's defenses," Power Lord chuckled. "Thankfully, Nezu didn't actually expect you to succeed. He simply set this task as a way to gauge your skills and drive. Enough, though, your portfolio was impressive enough to guarantee your admission without any need for the practical. Take it from someone who has been working under him for quite a while now. Impressing Nezu like that was no easy feat. He seems to have..." Power Lord shivered almost independently. "Special plans to help you realize your potential." Izuku held his breath as Power Loader gave him a tired smile. "As the head of the support course at UA, welcome, Izuku Midoriya. This is your support academia." Izuku's jaw dropped, and he kept staring at the screen as his mom cried and hugged him tightly. He made it. He made it! He was going to UA! He did it! Oh wait, Power Loader was still talking. "Now that we've gotten that out of the way, there's a few housekeeping items I need to tell you about. There's 3 first-year support classes at UA. Class 1F and 1G cater to the invention track, while Class 1H focuses primarily on design. Because of the rarity of students entering the intelligence and analytics tracks, you've been assigned to Class 1F with the invention students. Your projects and assignments will, of course, be modified to fit your emphasis, but you will also have daily lessons with Prison Nezu. But you will also need to pass the lab safety test on UA's website before starting, since 1F meets in a lab rather than in a traditional classroom. Please fill out the forms included in your acceptance letter to inform us of any equipment or materials you will need so we can have those ready for you on the first day of class. Congrats, Midoriya. I look forward to seeing you in my class." "You did it, baby!" Mom hadn't stopped hugging him since Power Loader had said he was accepted. "You worked so hard. I'm so proud of you." That was what finally pushed Izuku over the edge into tears of his own. He had no idea how much he needed to hear that. All those years of her apologizing for him being quirkless and telling him to choose a different dream were over. His mom believed in him now. She was proud of him. That felt almost as good as being told he actually got accepted into UA. Izuku," Mom said, "I think your phone is vibrated." Izuku listened, and sure enough, there was a faint vibration noise. He looked around to see that his phone had fallen out of his pocket and was sitting on the couch beside him. Who would even be calling him? Kachan was the only one at school who had his number, but Izuku was half convinced that he had deleted it as soon as Aunt Mei forced him to put it in his phone. Hesitantly, Izuku answered the call. "I got in!" He didn't even get a chance to say hello before Mino was shouting in his ear, "I got in, Izu-chan! I got into UA!" Izuku couldn't help the grin that spread across his face. Congrats, Mi-chan. I knew you could do it. Mom looked very confused, and Izuku suddenly realized that in his post-exam depression haze, not only had he almost forgotten about giving me his phone, he also completely forgot about telling Mom that he met me at all. He'd been so depressed when he came home after failing the practical that he's gone straight to his room, and then he spent the rest of the wait trying not to think about it, especially since he was never going to see her again if he didn't make it into UA. Now he had to explain who this random girl was to his mom. Awkward. He pulled the phone away from his mouth and spoke quietly. Mi-chan is, me is acting like we're friends, but he still didn't assume anything. We met at the entrance exam. Ah, Mom nodded in understanding, but still seemed a little nervous. What about you, Izu-chan? The question made Izuku tune back into Mii's rambling. Did you pass? Because if you didn't, I'm gonna march straight into UA and tell them that. No, Izuku screamed, but then realized that that could be taken the wrong way. I mean, no, please don't do that, Mi-chan. I got in. Apparently my final was just a formality and they didn't actually expect me to succeed. I told you so, Mi cracked. I knew they wouldn't fail you. That would be like ignoring my perfect babies. So what class are you going to be in? Are you going to be with all the other analysis students? Actually, I'm the only one, so they put me in the invention class, Izuku said nervously. I'm in 1F. There was a beat of silence, and Izuku was just staring to wonder if he'd somehow said something wrong when Hatsume squealed so loud that he had to hold the phone at arm's length just to avoid going deaf. Mom kept looking between him and the phone and obviously concerned. Is she okay? Izuku shrugged helplessly. I think she just might be excited. I'm in 1F too! Mi screamed. We're in the same class! Izuku blinked in shock for a moment. He was gonna have a friend in class. That hadn't happened since, well, it depended if we were counting Kachan as a friend. They've been in plenty classes together, but it definitely wasn't enjoyable. Or at least not as enjoyable as he thought being in class with me would be. So he wasn't sure if that counted. Izuku grinned. He was finally gonna be in the same class as a friend. Well, if they were actually friends. We should do something to celebrate, Mi declared. Oh. Izuku held the phone away from his mouth again and glanced at Mom. Would you mind if I went to hang out with Mi-chan? She wants to celebrate us getting in. Mom frowned for a moment. Does she want to come over for dinner? If she's your friend, I want to meet her. I could make you your favorites. Izuku hesitated. Was inviting her over weird? He couldn't imagine inviting anyone from his middle school over, and Kachan would probably laugh at his mom, insisting she'd meet his new friend, but Mi didn't seem like the type to get embarrassed by social norms like that. So she probably wouldn't care? I guess I could ask her. 20 minutes later, Izuku was frantically cleaning the kitchen while his mom started dinner. What if Mi thought their house was too dirty? What if she thought it was in a bad part of town? What if she saw the pictures of 4-year-old Izuku in an All Might onesie and never wanted to talk to him again? They were in the same class. He'd have to be careful to always sit on the other side of the room or maybe behind her so she didn't have to see his face. Was it safer to put the pictures down? Yes, definitely. Safer to take the pictures down. Oh no, that was a knock. Too late. Abort mission. They both ran to answer the door, but before Mom could open it, Izuku suddenly grabbed her hand. Before you meet me, I kinda need to warn you about something. Mom looked worried. Does she have tattoos or something? No, nothing like that, Izuku said frantically. It's just she calls her inventions her babies. Why would you need to warn me about? Izuku opened the door before she could finish and immediately got a handful of excitement, Mi-chan. Izuku-chan, this year is gonna be so much fun. Izuku willed his face to go back to normal colors as he pried her away from him. Mi, this is, my mom? Mom, this is Mi-chan. Mi's eyes lit up as she ran up to Mom, practically vibrating with excitement. It's awesome to meet you, Midoriya-san. Your son and I are gonna make so many beautiful babies together. Mom immediately choked and stared at her in shock before she connected the dots. She visually relaxed and sighed in relief. Oh, that's what you meant. Izuku, I see why you warned me. And yes, Izuku seems to be looking forward to working with you too. Good, me grin. I'm so excited to see what babies I can make with your son's awesome brain. Did you teach him how to do that? Mom still seemed a little overwhelmed by Mi's energy. What? I think she meant my analysis, Mom. Izuku came to her rescue. Or did you mean the hacking? Both. Oh, analysis has always been Izuku's hobby, really. Even as a kid, he was looking at quirks and writing notes about them. I don't even know what he was doing until he showed me his first notebook, Mom said. And besides buying him notebooks and computer classes, it's all him. Wow, me said. I knew you were smart, Izuku. But that's something else. You really taught yourself how to make your notebooks? Izuku nodded. I just always loved heroes, so it just kind of made sense. I've been doing them forever, so the first ones are really stupid, and I think they're probably written in crayon. Cool. My first blueprints were the same. I knew there were blueprints, so I was like very particular that I had to draw them with blue crayon. Me grinned, and Izuku was pleased to realize that Mom looked more at ease now that she had a chance to adjust to Mi's energy. So what's for dinner? Can somebody tell me if I am pronouncing Mi's name wrong? Because I swear to God I am pronouncing her name wrong. Wonderful news. I have a new post schedule. So Mondays and Tuesdays I'll be posting cheat code support strategist. Wednesdays will be one shots. Thursdays and Fridays will be dedicated to permanent ink. And this Saturday and Sunday, you guys will be having a new series that I'm starting up this week. So yeah, I will be posting daily content. As always, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds, have a wonderful day or night, depending on when you are watching, and thank you so much for watching.